Okay, I think I'm live, folks. Bear with me. Do. Tweet. Um, mm, mm, mm. Bear with me, folks. Story. Let's see if that one's a go. Right. Okay, folks. Yeah, I think I might be live. Let me know in the comments here. Let's see here. Am I live? Just had a haircut this morning, so it's a bit messy. Right. Hi, Ian. I can see you. Thanks for joining. Just making sure all this is out to social media. Right. I know a lot of people may not join me live, but you can watch it afterwards, of course. But why Ian's in the comments there. Is my mic okay? Sound okay? Too loud? Too quiet? Let me know. Right. Right. Okay. Hi, Stuart. How are you doing? Bear with me here. It's just I haven't done a live for a while, so I need to sort my shit out. Right. Sounds good. Perfect. Cheers. Right. So thanks for joining us, by the way. Yeah, I just want to do a bit of a roundup for 2022 and let you know what's coming in for 2023. So yeah, this year's been pretty good. Can't complain at the moment. We had, just looking at my notes here, we had eight in-person interviews, and including Tug Wilson, Dave Best, Mike Sutton, Paul Tremeling, and a lot more. So that's been absolutely amazing. I mean, yeah, getting to chat to them people in person is incredible. It doesn't get better than that. So, where am I? Right, yeah. Bear with me, folks. Hi, Mike. Hi, Troy. Might take me 2 seconds just to make sure everything's up and running, so bear with me. Right. That's perfect. So yeah, how have you guys been anyway? If you have any questions, put them in the comments on the side there, and I'll try and answer as many as I can. And we'll get on with it. So let me get my notes up here. Yeah, right. So yeah, we've had a pretty good year, I would say. Considering 2022 has been a bit difficult on a personal part. I've lost a family member close to me a good couple of months ago, so that's kind of affected work in a way and stuff like that. But I think we had some great interviews. As I say, I mentioned before, Tug Wilson was probably one of the highlights, and probably one of my highlights was Tom Bow going from the F14 to the F3. I mean, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I could have quizzed him for hours, but Tom was great, so I appreciate that. And then obviously him coming over to the F3 and the comparison there was like pretty cool. So I enjoyed that. And yeah, we had, I mean, some incredible guests on in terms of like types. So we had the C17, MiG-25, Mirage 2000, and I can name more. But yeah, it was great. So I'm happy with how the year's gone. Yeah, the only low points were, yeah, my grandma died. I can't remember how many months ago. I would say about 4 months ago. So that's affected all of us, and I have family all over the different parts of the world. My mum and dad live in Penang. My sister's now in Miami, so it's been a bit of a chaos kind of thing, trying to get the family together and stuff like that. So that's affected the channel a slight bit, but not too much. So yeah, I'm going to get my notes up here. Sorry, this is really not impromptu, but yeah, I'm not used to doing these live things, and I'm sure there's people a lot better than me at that. But I'm going to mention who we've got coming up immediately next year. So we have Tim Golden, who was a former US Marine F-18 pilot, and then he got an exchange on the Tornado F3, favorite plane, of course. So hopefully we're going to be interviewing maybe late January, early February. I'm going to head down to London. We're going to film that. I think like the exchange programs really interest me, so hopefully that interests you as well. And then we've got Dan Laws, who was a former Typhoon pilot and then Red Arrows pilot. And he also flew on the 2019 North American tour. So that'll be really interesting to hear about his stories there, because I followed that. I don't know if you watch it as well. I think it was on Channel 4, Channel 5. I can't remember. There's a whole docu-series on it, and that was great. That was really interesting. So if we can get Dan on the channel again in person, probably down London, because I think he's based that way. And then we're going to get Wombat back on the show, kind of for like a one-off kind of special. We're going to talk about, pilot chat. We're going to kind of like not debunk. I can't remember the word now, but talk about like words that pilots and aircrew use in the cockpits and relate them to you guys. Because sometimes we get on the channel and then I'll get feedback and be like, oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? So we're going to like try and get an episode on that sometime in January. I talked to Wombat today, so hopefully that'll be coming soon. And also I'm going to be heading overseas, hopefully Germany. I can't say much more about that at the moment, but I want to do sort of an in-person one over there, and then hopefully one maybe in the later of the year. I can't really say names or anything at the moment, but keep an eye out. But we will be traveling to get some in-person interviews from like different air forces and stuff like that. So that's going to be absolutely amazing. Yeah, if you've got any questions, put them in the side. Yeah, I'm going to be doing more happy hours. I stopped them once my grandma was ill and then she passed away, just because I wasn't really feeling like the live Q&A's feed at the moment. So they will be coming back next year. Hey, Templar. So they will be coming back, and I've got a few guests in mind. I've been talking to a few, so again, keep an eye on that. And then also, potentially, I'm going to be in contact with a certain person about maybe doing some live events. So live aircrew interview events where guests come. You can come down. It will be a ticketed event, obviously, because we have to pay for the venue and stuff like that. But it should be fun. I don't know if it's going to happen next year, but I'm in talks, hopefully in January, with someone, and get a few like pretty, decent guests, I would say, popular people on the channel to come on and 15 minutes chat, and then obviously you can get the stuff signed, and then we'll have a chat, have some food, whatever, have a beer, whatever you want to do. Hopefully that'll come to fruition later next year, maybe summertime. Again, I'm not sure. It's just all in the works at the moment. That's just in my head. More live Q&As, and also we've got our patches coming out. Hopefully mid-January. Let's see if I can get them up. You won't be able to see them because maybe you can. So our patches, they're going to be PVC patches, and they'll be hopefully in my hands by January time. And there's only going to be 42 of them, each color, the colored and the black and white kind of thing. And they'll be available once they come out. And if you want to buy one, that's great. It just gives us a little something back, and also you get something as well. And because they're going to be like, once they're gone, they're gone. So it's 21 of each color, and once they're gone, they're gone. So hopefully they will do well, and I will obviously let you know once they're available to the public. And if you want one, it'll just be over PayPal, and they're going to be $12.50 each, including postage and packaging. I don't really make much back of it, honestly. It's just more of a nice thing to do, and you get like something limited edition, and a little bit goes back into the pot for Aircrew interview. What else do we have coming up? There's so many guests I can't even name names, which is a bit frustrating, but plenty of guests coming up next year. But they're the main things that I've just mentioned before that's going to come up in 2023. So let's see if I've got any questions here. As I said, this is like just impromptu kind of thing. Enjoying the tornado tails, Mike. Good stuff. Oh, cheers, Mike. Yeah, I like the tornado tails thing because obviously everyone knows the F3 is my favorite aircraft. So it's always fun to get past guests on just to share one story, and hopefully it's enjoyable for you. And I should also mention that on the 26th, which is Monday, Boxing Day, Mandy's Tornado Tales will come out. That's a really good one, actually. So you'll check that out. That'll be at 5 o'clock UK time. So keep an eye out for that. And then I've got a teaser clip coming out from Mike Crane's interview on the Aussie F111. And then part 1 will be available to you guys on the 1st of January on his time flying the F111 over in Australia. And then part 2 on the Sunday after. So keep an eye out for that. I interviewed another F111 pilot recently, and we've basically focused on this time flying at RAF Lakenheath and Desert Storm. Really great interview. Again, dates will come up for that. I'm just still working out my schedule at the moment, because I need to get my diary up here, because like after today I am done. I am done until Wednesday. In terms of like editing and stuff like that, I'm away from the office. So keep an eye out for the 28th for a teaser clip from Mike Crane's interview. And then we'll go on from there. Let me see here. Bear with me. Live events would be fantastic. Yeah, cheers, Ian. Yeah, I think they would be a really good thing to do. I think what I want to do if the live events do go ahead, I don't want it to be stuffy. I don't want it to be like everyone sitting on chairs and then listening to like an hour's speech. I want it to be maybe 3 guests and they do a 15-minute each, chat live on stage. And then afterwards, we all just mingle, have some food, have a drink, get some, signed. I don't want it to be like that kind of Imperial War Museum where everyone's on stiff chairs for like an hour. Like that's just me, but that's what I want to do. I want to mingle with you guys and stuff like that. I probably wouldn't be able to speak that much because I'll be too nervous, but we'll figure that out when it comes to that point. Bill, can you identify the squadrons and the prints behind you, please, in particular Buccaneer? Yeah, so top one is 43 Squadron F3. That one's other Tornado is 56. Buccaneer is 208 Squadron, and the Phantom one is 92 Squadron. I should know that off by heart, but yeah. So all the patches you see in there, they were given to me by the pilots who signed the print, which is really nice. You may have fun. Yeah, true. Who would be on your bucket list interview, Mike? Do you have one? I actually don't. I get that question a few times. I really don't. No, I think my bucket list is more, I don't know, like exchanges. I think they're interesting. I think Tom Bow is like one of my favorites of the year I interviewed, coming from the Tomcat to the Tornado F3. That was just fascinating for me. I could have spoken to him for like 3-4 hours. But no like person as such. I'm sure like there will be people in the future, I'll be like, oh, I want to interview that person, but no bucket list person. So some people say astronauts, but yeah, that'd be really, really interesting. But I'm not really, I don't really have anyone, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would tell you. What's your opinion on the current state of the beloved Red Arrows? Yeah. Um, I don't have an opinion, to be honest, because I'm going to be interviewing Dan Laws hopefully next year, February time, in person. And that's one thing I should point out. I'm not going to mention anything about what's happened with the Reds and the team over the last year or so, because we're talking about flying. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty in politics. I'm not a journalist, trying to have a scoop or anything like that. It's not my style. Some people might want to do that. Not my thing. I'm not bothered about that. It'll work itself out. Would try more joint other aviation YouTube channels like would try more. I don't know quite what you mean. Do you mean like a collaboration or something? Uh, I don't know. I've never really thought about that. I just kind of do my own thing. If you like me and what we do, that's great. But I've never thought like, let's try and collaborate with someone to get bigger views. It's not really my thing. I'd rather just be like in my little zone. If people like it, that's great. And luckily I can do this full time and it works for me. But I'm never like trying to like look for a big hit or a collaboration where it's like that's going to get views and hence get me money. Doesn't really work for me. Yeah, so Troy, not really. It's not like I'm not saying like I wouldn't do it. I just don't know what we would do because I'm different because mostly like if you know the bigger channels, like Fighter Pilot Podcast and Ward Carroll and stuff like that, they're already Aircrew. So I'm kind of like the middleman. I'm not really a pilot or aircrew, so I don't know how the collaboration would work. Whereas a collaboration with, let's say, just Fight Pilot podcast or and Ward Carroll meet, probably different because everyone would be like, oh, they're aircrew and it works for their channel. But for me, it'd be different. But I'm not like against it. It's just I don't know what I would do. I'm not sure what that content would be. But I am going to try and do. As I say, like I'm going down to London, hopefully end of January, start of February, with Tim Golden. Yeah, as I mentioned before, former U.S. Marine Corps F-18 pilot, and then he transferred to the Tornado F3. So I'm going to do a sort of day in the life. So I wake up, what I'm doing, the traveling, how I build up to it. I might take some B-roll footage of the interview and stuff like that, and how we wrap up. Because Tim also offered to pay for my dinner when we come down to London. He's going to take me and my girlfriend out for drinks and dinner, which is very kind of him. So little things like that, like I might film like just like a kind of day in the life of like when I go out filming, because obviously the main thing is I want to film in person, and that's the main goal for next year. So I'm gonna try and get out with the camera a lot more. Okay, here's one from Templar 7832. Okay, here's one. Which aircrew or pilot from history would you like to interview if you could choose? Oh, I actually don't know. I generally haven't thought about it. Probably Dale Snort Snodgrass, probably. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool on the F-14. As I mentioned, Tim Golden before, he was friends with him. I've seen some pictures with him. So I will be like maybe chatting about that as well, how he felt what Snort was. But yeah, probably Snort, the F-14 legend. Yeah. What are your favorite aviation movies from John Minter? Well, obviously it's going to be probably Top Gun. Yeah, I'm going to say it. And I thought Top Gun 2 or Top Gun Maverick was just as good as Top Gun, the original movie, actually. I think it was really good. I really enjoyed it. You could tell there was a lot of CGI from my perspective. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't really gone into detail, but I quite like the story. Yeah, the flight shots were good, so I enjoyed that. Iron Eagle, I watched that the other day actually. It's quite good, like for cheesiness. But yeah, probably Top Gun. I would say they're on par, both movies. What else do I have here? Am I rambling? I don't know. Oh, by the way, since I'm finishing tonight, I've bought myself these from the classic Aldi. Don't know if it's nice or not, because I'm finishing until next Wednesday, like as in not editing anything, I'm relaxing. So I'm looking forward to that, just relaxing. Because sometimes it can get quite stressful. So yeah. Any other questions, folks? Let's see. I love Top Gun Maverick. A few Hornet and operational. Actually, still a great film. Yeah, yeah. We bought it as soon as it came out on. I think it was Amazon. I think it was. Can't remember. Amazon or one of the streaming channels. Yeah, we bought it straight away. And yeah, my girlfriend Chelsea loves it as well. I think she was bored of it after like the third time. You know. Are you full-time YouTuber or do you have a day job? No, this is my full-time job, Justin. Just say it in again, sorry. Yeah, so I'm lucky this is my full-time job. It's not always easy, but I'm lucky I do what I love and I put the work in, and hopefully it comes across for you guys as well. So yeah. Has any pilots offered you to take you up for a flight, Stuart C? I've had, yeah, a few people. Yeah, that's another thing I can't really mention, but I might be going up in something next year. But yeah, I have had a few offers, but nothing like fast. It's mainly, like aircraft and stuff like that, which is still amazing. I can't believe people, want to chat to me and like offer me kind of this kind of thing. I went up in the Chipmunk. That was like a really cool thing, but it was the hottest day in the world. Honestly, it was like, it must have been like 100,000 degrees. And we went up. So we were 45 minutes in a Chipmunk. And yeah, by the time I came down, I was sweating, but it was I don't know. We went over, where did we go? Over Binbrook. I can't remember, but I was just sweating at the time. I couldn't even like concentrate. How do you approach Aircrew guys, in person or email, and do you stay in touch with them afterwards? A bit of both, actually. And so sometimes I'll approach them cold calling. So like, oh well, they flew that. And sometimes you get a response, sometimes you don't. And then yeah, some I stay in touch with, like some. I'm trying to think. Probably one of the people I stay in touch with the most are probably British, so like Phil Keeble, David Gled, Hale, people like that. I mean, like not every day, kind of thing. Like it might be like a month, and I'll text and stuff like that. But yeah, sometimes I'll keep in touch with them. Some you just interview and that's it done. They kind of like don't respond anymore, which is fine. So yeah, but I've made some good friends along the way, both aircrew and out of it as well. Ian, how many hours a week do you spend editing, uploading social media for the channel, etc.? Do you have any film background before the channel started? I have no film background. How it started was, I don't know if this is like common knowledge, but I was looking for interviews on YouTube, basically, from like Aircrew, and I was like barely anything there apart from the odd one on ITV was like 3 minutes in Afghanistan or something like that. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to try and change that. I was like, I'm going to pick up a camera, and then you learn as you go, like certain things work, certain things don't. You're like, oh, I should have done that better that time, blah, blah, blah. How many hours? It depends. I split my time into two, really. So I'll wake up, I'll be in the office. Oh, I would say office, yeah, 8 o'clock. But I work downstairs in the morning because I have an office this is where mainly the editing goes. So downstairs in the morning, it's like more email admin and what I have planned. Have like a diary and like who I'm going to email and have to respond to comments, emails. Because surprisingly, like I know it sounds a surprise, but I get like emails off viewers, and sometimes they're really short, just saying thank you very much. I like the channel, and sometimes they're quite long and stuff like that. So you have to take time to email them back, especially if it's quite long. You don't want to just be like, oh, thank you. So you answer the questions and stuff like that. So morning time is that, then it's editing time. Editing gets kind of split. So like I don't do one edit. Like, so let's say I have something coming out, part 1 on Sunday. I'll take like a week to edit that, and I don't like edit that one interview because like you go over it so many times and you're like, is that done right? Is that done right? So I split up into other edits as well. So I'll be like, just to take my mind off, so like a different person and stuff like that. And then I normally finish about 6 o'clock, something like that, 6-ish, because my girlfriend finishes about 4:30. She's in about 5 o'clock, and then it's an hour just spending just making sure everything's ready for the next morning. But yeah, it's surprisingly, it's like a full-time role. Because some people just think like you just put it up, and it's not, because like there'll be like a little thing if you this is me personally, so I'll watch the interview about 5-6 times before it goes out, and sometimes you pick up on a little mistake, or you're like, oh, I could have done that better there, or I should have put a photo there, that kind of thing, and then you just go over it. So like one interview, let's say just interviewing and splitting it, I would say it probably takes a week, just because like I get a headache if I'm like watching it back and back, if that makes sense, Ian. Sorry, probably that was a terrible answer, but yeah. Are you still in touch with John Hutchinson at all? His Concord interview is one of my favorites. No, I haven't talked to John for a while. Occasionally you'll like something on our Aircrew interview group. You'll like it, but not in touch with him at the moment. The last time I think was in contact when we did the 747 and the VC10 interview, which was a good couple of years ago. Bear with me. Would love to see some more content from some of the people who flew larger types, Nimrod, Herc, etc. Not so glam, but as important. Thanks for everything you are doing. Really appreciate it. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thanks for watching as well. Yeah, we're going to do that next year. I mean, this year we had the C-17 on. That was really great. And it was like a kind of toss up, because I wanted to film it in person, but then I got Emily on, and who flies in America, and I was like, right, okay, that's going to be really good, and she's a great person, so I enjoyed that interview. But yeah, heavies definitely to come. I want to do some more Nimrod stuff. I think I also want to do a C5, but again, like surprisingly, like the heavies are more difficult to come by. I don't know why that is, but yeah, but definitely more to come for sure for the heavies. Just like to thank you for your great work this year, and looking forward to your iPod in 2023. Merry Christmas to you and to aviation geeks everywhere. Cheers, John. I flaming love this channel, Mike. It's a cracking little channel. It was great to meet you at RIAT this year, and a great honor and privilege to be interviewed by. Cheers, mate. Yeah, it was a great honor to meet you as well, Andy, and obviously on the channel. That was like RIAT, because I did get a few people saying they wanted to meet me and stuff like RIAT, and I'm quite like a shy person, and I just didn't know if it was like the right thing. I just like, for me, RIAT was a break. Some people are like asking me, am I going to film? I'm going to interview. I was like, no. We basically just sat in the grass, me and my girlfriend, on the grass. It was like 30 odd degrees or whatever. But that was my little break. I didn't really want to mingle, if that makes sense. It's not against people. It's just, I wanted a break. I just wanted to chill and just watch the flying. And yeah. But like I will, if I can do the live meets next year. Obviously, it's not going to be about me. I like to be in the background. I don't want to be like the main focus. I am not at all, but obviously the aircrew are the main focus. They're the ones who are, the stars of the show. So I try to, keep a back seat. That's why I don't do many lives or um, stuff like what Mover would do, or even like Jello might do sometimes. I just couldn't do that. It's not like in me. I like to like take the back seat and make other people like the stars of the show. Nothing against that. It's just like I'm too shy. But if we get the live events going next year, again, that's a big if, because we'll have to figure out venues. Then obviously I'll be there, and if you want to say hi, that's fine. But again, like I'm not a person to be like big headed or like, oh, look at me. I'm not into that. Do you have a favorite aviation live streamer? Not really. I'd probably watch Mover occasionally. Mover's pretty good. He's good live. But again, not really, because sometimes when you're doing it like day to day, 8 till 6 every day, and it never like as you like I work for myself, you never really switch off. It's not like Friday and then you're like, right, I've got the weekend. You're still always onto something. So sometimes like aviation, I just like want to break from it. But sometimes I'll listen to like podcasts on my daily walk. I'll watch a live stream that interests me. I don't like follow anyone and think, right, that person's got a stream up or a video up. I'll watch it just because I like them. It's just like if it interests me, probably like mainly like this channel. Like if I got an interview up and it like let's say F111. If you like the F111, you're gonna watch it, but some people don't, so they don't watch it. Some people will watch mostly what we have out and what we do, which is great. I really appreciate that. But I'm probably like picky and choosy. I'm like, oh, I like that aircraft or I like that subject. I watch that. I don't like follow blindly. Do all the interviewees have to vet the content before the broadcast? No, no, actually, I always say I'll send it to them like a couple of days before it goes live to check through. But most of them, I would say probably 90% of the guests say, I trust you. It's fine. Some people want to see it and then they might say, oh, well, you made a mistake there, or you put the wrong photo there. That's very, very rare. But I always send it to them anyway. If they watch it or not, I don't know. But I always do, just to make sure they have like full disclosure, because I want them to be happy with it. Yeah, the Nimrod. Yeah, more V-Force 2. Any chance to interview Concorde Chief Captain Mike? Yes, I want to. I'd probably be able to get in contact with him from John Hutchinson, but yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, another Concorde one. That'd be really interesting, but we'd have to do it. Yeah, where else do they have a Concorde at? I can't remember. Duxford. You remind me in the comments. Understandable about Riyadh, Mike. Whereas some of us are on the other side of the fence, enjoying what we do. Hope you and girlfriend enjoy Riyadh. Yeah, we loved it, mate. Like it was so good. Yeah, and I mean, earlier this year. I was going to say last year. It feels like last year, but earlier this year, it was amazing. The displays were really, really good. Um, it was just nice to get back to an air show. Really enjoyed it. And so cheers for that, David. And yeah, carry on, hopefully, for future. I mean, is there going to be one in 2023, 24 as well? Because I heard something like, I read something, it's probably like bullshit, but someone was like, oh, it's not going to be on next year. Again, I don't go into detail. I don't read the articles. I read the headline. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. Yeah, well, Andy, you're on the channel, so that's fair enough. Watching you from Fiji, really enjoying your interviews, mate. Look forward to your interview. Ah, cheers, Matt. Thank you very much. I'm going to take a drink of my beer here because this is my last night in front of the computer as such. So I'm going to ask you guys, like, what channels have you been enjoying recently? YouTube or podcasts or whatever's on your radar. Nice one, Dave. That's really great. Because last year, I think it was, I can't remember what it was. I got a media ticket to come in, and I didn't really get any like options to do anything. They just said, "Oh yeah, here's your ticket," and they said, "Oh, if you need anything, come into the tent." And I didn't. I was like, "Oh, can I interview this part?" And they were like, "Oh yeah, there was a queue or something," and I was like, "Oh okay." So I just felt like a bit out of place because it was like, like journos there and stuff like that, and like amazing like photographers. So I just felt a bit out of place because it's not really what you want to do. So like I never asked for a ticket again because I just thought like it's not really for me because I just want to enjoy it. I thought like I brought my camera, but it just didn't really work out, Dave. Have you earned that beer? Any funny stories or unexpected moments you can tell us about that have happened during filming? I've definitely earned this beer this year. Oh my god, yes, I've definitely earned it. Um, yeah, because sometimes, again, like people don't realize. Sometimes I'll work till 8 o'clock at night if I don't have stuff ready to go. But yeah, I feel like I've earned my beer, um, and hopefully you guys enjoy what's being put out. So yeah, the next like couple of days, I'm just spending at home with my girlfriend, then going next door for Christmas dinner. And if you don't know, my girlfriend's parents have a bar in the back, like a shed. And on there, when you walk in, above is like all the patches, because I get patches very kindly given off me by Aircrew sometimes when I interview them. And so, like, I've got like a little wall of kind of fame, if that makes sense. Funny story when I'm filming. Oh, yeah, actually, one funny one. Well, not really funny, but when I was interviewing Tug at Nelsam um, earlier this year, it was like kind of empty, and we were filming in front of the Tornado F3 course, and like, I don't know, how old was she? Maybe I don't know, like 40, and she had a kid with her, maybe. And then I was getting settled with a camera, and they were really inquisitive about the tornado. And then basically Tug was like, "I flew this," and then they were chatting to Tug for ages, like, and he was telling them all about that. So like little things like that, I was like, "That's kind of cool." And I was trying to set up, the camera, and the little kid and the mum were like, "Oh wow, you flew this," and they were like, "How fast?" and stuff like that. And Tug was really nice, and Tug also brought one of his some blues down because they're getting like mannequins, and he brought his like blues down and he signed inside us because it has relevance to the tornado that he flew, which is ZE 204. So that was quite interesting. So the blues, when if you go down Ian and you see some blues, they're Tugs that he brought down to donate to the museum. Right, 10% true. Yeah, that's a great podcast. Yeah, really good one. Yeah, I'll listen to that. No, I've never heard of No Phillips. Right, I'll check that out. Walt Carra's a musty. Yeah, yeah. Walt Carra, he's just like he's gone crazy, and no wonder because he's like a great presenter and a great person on camera. Again, that's why he's good at that. Like he's in front of the camera, I'm not. So I'm always behind the scenes. As you can see, your channel's awesome, mate. I can't wait to see what 2023 brings. Oh, thanks, mate. Jared, watching from Texas, great idea and very important to preserve the first-hand memories of those who have flown these amazing aircraft. If you need more boring civilian airlines, sorry, I'm available. Well, cheers, Jared. I'll keep you in mind for sure. Buzz Aldrin, still around, gets interview requests fairly often. Yeah, I'm sure he does, but you probably want money for that. I've never paid anyone. So, I think I tried to get in contact with Tim Peake once. You had to go through his agent, and I think you had to fill out a form and everything, and they probably wanted money. So, I'm not really in a position to do that unless they wanted, to do it for free and publicity and that kind of thing. But nah, I've never had that opportunity to maybe contact Buzz Aldrin. You never know, though. Um, yeah, nice one. Yeah, I'm trying to get Tug back on the show, hopefully, to talk about his weapons school at Valley, and that's another one. Maybe it's just in the works at the moment. Jordan Lovell's around too. Yeah, yeah. Have you a favorite museum in Britain? Probably Boscombe Down's really good. I really like Boscombe Down. They're really friendly over there, and you get to sit in the cockpits. They've got Jags, Lightnings, Tornado, Harrier, Hawk, and you can sit in them. There's like no, don't touch that. And they're like always friendly to me, so I enjoy going down there. I mean, I live in the northeast, so it's a bit of a trek. Hence why some people. Another thing which annoys me, but it's understandable, I suppose. So if I'm interviewing, let's say, uh, an F4 Phantom pilot, and all we've got in the back, like the closest museum to their guest is whatever museum, let's say Boscombe Down. Like I interviewed Steve Ladd, and there was a Jag in the background. I was like, that's kind of similar to a Phantom. And then you get comments saying, that's not a Phantom. I'm like, well, yeah, obviously they don't know. But like the traveling for me is like a lot. So it takes about, let's say, 5 hours to get down to a certain place in London, because we're opposite ends of the country. And we have to pay for hotels, food and stuff like that, donate to the museum. And that's why you pick the best choice, because I always pick the closest museum to the guests so they don't have to travel far, because I can't stand that thought of them having to drive far. So obviously I do the work and stuff like that, because I want them to be comfortable and easy going, and they can get to the museum and have a cup of coffee, and they don't have to drive like 5 hours like what we would do. So that's a bit like annoying, but like I never really comment now, because I'll be like, it's not always easy to find an F4 or whatever close to the guest. But obviously that's not their fault. They just don't understand, and that's fine. I do have an email address. It's just aircrewinterview@gmail.com. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, it's funny in the background. Yeah, it's honestly, it's a bit strange. And sometimes you just have to, I just let it go. It used to bother me in the start, because I'd be like, well, do you think there's going to be an F-14 Tomcat or what? It was one, oh, what was it? Yeah. Um, um, Hillary's interview, the F-14 Wizzo, and we filmed at Gatwick, and we filmed in front of the Vixen. And people were like, that's not an F-14. I was like, well, come on. You have to realize, if it was an F-14, I would have done it, but whatever. So I've let that go from years ago. I'm easy going now. Are there any pubs near bases that lots of aviation history in them worth visit? What is one with all the flying boots? Oh, yeah, there is. I think it's called the Bluebell near Coningsby, but that's kind of near Newark, but not quite. It's near, can't remember, something centre. I filmed there with Paddy O'Flynn and Dave Gledhill. The Eagle in Cambridge, that's kind of near Duxford. It's still a half an hour drive, but no, I can't think. One with the boots, I know what you're talking about, with Craig. I can't remember that pub. I don't know if it's closed, but yeah, I know which one you mean. The Lightning boots. If you interview a B2 pilot, finding one in the back. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's even if they're allowed to talk. I'm trying to get an F-117 pilot. Again, they're really difficult. Obvious, I don't know, bit tough. What's the best interview you ever did? That's really difficult, because everyone gives you something different. It's really hard. Places I've been to, like the best place I've probably been to is Finland. I did 2 interviews there. That was really, really good. I enjoyed Finland. But interviews, yeah, everyone's different. Honestly, as you can get a great one on Skype, and then you can get not a bad one in person, but like a one in person, you think like, oh, I could have done better there. I should have done that. But the guests are always great. Like I can't complain about guests or anything like that. Would you consider more Warbird content? Love Cliff Spink interview. Yeah, I would, but I think I don't know if I should say this. Maybe I should. I don't care anymore because it's the end of the year. I always do what I want to do. I obviously I take into consideration what the fans viewers interested in. But I think if I like it, it'll come across like that, and people enjoy it. So warbirds are not really my biggest topic I'm interested in, but I will obviously I'm interested in because it's still aviation, but it's not something I would directly go for, if that makes sense. And it's like not like against like the warbird community. It's just I'm interested in a certain thing, and hopefully, that comes across. But you know, maybe I can change my mind and get into more of the warbird stuff. What are your future plans about this channel? I kind of mentioned it before, so we want to keep on putting out, part one on a Sunday, part two on a Sunday. We're going to get some more live Q&As coming through next year, starting in January. Again, I can't mention any names. We're still in talks because I want to make sure they're definitely up for it. And then live events, potentially in summer, but don't quote me on that, but potentially summer. And yeah, just keep on going. I want to travel more. I want to get around the world more. I'm going to start like traveling this year to Europe and get some more international interviews in person because I enjoy the in person ones the most, obviously, because you have more control over the audio and the camera. And that's what some people say as well. So they'll say, um, your guest has terrible audio or terrible video. It's like, well, of course, like I can't expect them to go out and buy a camera and a half decent mic. Like, why would you do that? So you have to work with what you can on, Skype and over the internet. Whereas in person, I can kind of control that. I've got like decent mics, decent camera, and I can control the setting and everything like that. John Minter, an interview with one of the RAF exchange pilots who flew the F-117 would be great. I spoke to one at Airfit and was really interesting. Yeah, I know who you mean. I know who you mean. I've not tried to contact, but I've tried to put feelers out there, but nothing yet. But you never know. Thanks for the honest answer. No obligation to like what words. Yeah, no problem, mate. Yeah, I just thought I'd be honest. I know you've interviewed Ian Black a number of times. Imagine getting him and his father an interview as two generate. Yeah, I mean, that'd be awesome. I have put a few things out a couple of years ago before COVID hit, whereas obviously I want to start happy hour again, but happy hours don't seem to do so well. I'm not sure why, but I would love to get like a couple of like aircrew into a room, stick a mic in. I'm not in it. I'll just stick a mic, feed them like a few beers, and let them go. That was one of the ideas I had a couple of years ago. Again, like obviously COVID hit, and so that is still in the it's in the back of my mind. It's just again, it's kind of a big deal to try and get everything organized because you're like, right, the situation. Where's everyone based? Where's the location going to be? And do they have to stay overnight? Do they have to have a hotel? All that kind of thing. It's not just like getting together and then they can go off. So it's quite a big deal. It's just some people don't seem to understand that. They just think like, oh, just pop down together and then sort out. But I would love to get like, yeah, Ian and his dad into a room, stick the mic down, and have a chat. Love the Jeff Gwynn view. Yeah, the footage that seems to be going around at the moment. Yeah, yeah. Marcus Hauer is lovely. Yeah, lovely bloke. Are you going to Riyadh 2023? Love to hear. Yeah, of course I will be. Yeah, I'll be going there. I'm just trying to yeah. I'm lying. My girlfriend's really into aviation. Oh, kind of into aviation at the moment. Last react, she loved the Italian Typhoon, and so and obviously our Typhoon. So she's kind of slowly getting into it. So it's yeah, like it's not so much like persuading anymore. It's like, are you coming? She's like, yeah. Try interviewing Ward Carroll. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I think he's huge now, though. I don't know if he's like a personable guy. I don't. I've watched a few of his things. Yeah, it'd be great on the channel, but again, I wouldn't want to do it because he's big and he gets big numbers. I wouldn't want to do it just because he might get me some views. I'm not really into that. But yeah, I do want to do like some Rio stuff next year. So he's definitely in there the running for some interviews. All right, yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. And it seems like it's getting a bit well, not difficult, but it's getting a bit harder now because everyone's having every aviation channel like has some new ideas. So you have to like not be ahead of the game, but like yeah, kind of have to think of stuff. What would people be interested in? And I'm one of the people. I don't know if other people do. I used to look, so I might used to look at, let's say, Jello's channel and be like, what's he doing? This was like 4 years ago. What these do, what this person doing, what's that channel doing, what topics are they doing? And I realized that's not the best way to go because it's not you anymore. Like unless you originally thought like, oh, that idea was good, or are you just nicking it, then it's different. But now I just think I'm going to do what I want to do, interview who I want to interview, and I've got like a lot of ideas, and I just think if I'm genuine, people will see that. Hopefully, you'll see that anyway, because I don't want to nick anyone's ideas and be like, oh, well, you nicked that. Well, that's fair enough, but I just think like do what you want to do, and like rather than like look for ratings or whatever, just go with what you want to do because you only have to please one person, and that's yourself. And if you please yourself, hopefully it'll please you guys as well, because that's what I want to do. And someone said in the comments, someone's like, oh, it was a tornado tales or something. He's like, oh, it's getting a bit long in the tooth. I was like, well, just don't watch then. That's fine. Like, he was nice and he said he enjoys the content. That's great. But yeah, I think if you do it for yourself, you're bulletproof. No, you've got no one to say like, oh, that wasn't my idea. Like, I didn't really think of that. So yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. Sorry. Any more questions before I wrap up? Okay, then. Fair enough. Right. Okay. Well, all I can say is thank you very much for joining us. No problem, Elaine. Thank you for joining anyway, but you can watch it back. Yeah, thank you to everyone who joined me tonight for the live Q&A. Again, more to come. So look out on Monday, which is the 26th. That's Boxing Day. Mandy's Tornado Tales will be coming out. And then on the Wednesday, there'll be a teaser clip from Mike Crane's interview flying the F-111, the Aussie F-111. So keep an eye on that. And then part one of Mike Crane's interview will be out on the 1st of January, which is next Sunday. So keep an eye out. And I just want to say thank you very much for all of you supporting us and this year. And thank you to our patrons especially. They keep us going. So thank you and happy Christmas to everyone. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon in the new year, probably. So thanks very much, mate. Cheers, Ian. Thanks to everyone. Mike, Stuart, Ant, Templar, Newitt. Thank you.